arrived at the class as a complete stranger, without knowing that I was going to meet these people. I remember seeing Mr. Gray arrive, commanding and implanting a little fear in us with a strong voice that turns on your sense of attention, which in my case occurs that is very limited, because yes, I have ADHD, but for now that is not important.
My first impression was a bunch of shy, scared, first-timers. Never been to college. Coming out of COVID, a lot of people hadn't been in the classroom. They didn't know what to expect. Everyone was sitting there kind of looking at each other, not really sure if this was a safe place and if this was the right decision. That was my impression. That everybody was kind of looking around like that, and a lot of people were sitting like that, very shy, shoulders hunched up, not really confident, and that was my impression.
And yes, the pandemic ruined many of our social skills. It was no longer the same to be in a Zoom class than in a classroom seeing your teacher face to face. This situation triggered too many reactions, from those who were fed up and already wanted to see everyone again, to those who didn't know what to do and were afraid.
It was strange. It was not the same, For many people, they're so used to being different, in the same classroom,
The first day and the first weeks, I really felt very nervous because the first day I arrived very late.
Okay.
And because I was lost, I think I arrived 50 minutes before the class was over.
And because it's the same high school, for me it was 3 high schools, but I get used to the classroom. I get used to my friends and the teacher too. So being in a new school, being in a new classroom was so different. And the first thing that I thought, who is gonna be my next friend? That was my first thought. And I sit next to Leo and next to Albert, and it was a really good friendship. I like it, but then I moved to the front because I think I was putting too much attention on playing that I didn't actually like going.
And also my English is very bad, and I don't understand my classmates, and I really feel afraid.
We all feel the same. No one is safe from the class method.
I choose my methods as far as teaching. I choose my methods really based on what has worked for me in the past, which has been I like for something to be explained, and then I like to discuss it. So I like working in groups and asking other people for help and helping other people. I'm very big on community, and I usually build a lesson plan around trying to build a community. I believe, my own personal belief, that my students can learn best if they're comfortable with the people around them, and if they're comfortable in being able to talk to each other and learn more from each other than they can learn from me. I give an idea to people, and the people work together to kind of develop that idea. And that's a beautiful thing to see, and I really like that and enjoy it. So it is always based on community and how to build community within the classroom.
Methods. There are many types of ways that you can teach. There are very hard methods, some soft, and some just boring. My teacher loved questions.
All of the research that we have suggests the more invested you are as a student, meaning you're asking questions, you feel a part of the team, a part of the community, and that you feel that you're a valued member, and that what you say, the questions you ask, deserve to be answered. Your opinions need to be heard. You have an emotional and intellectual investment in the class. You believe you belong there. And if you believe you're respected and appreciated, and that your opinion is respected and appreciated, then you're more likely to buy into it. You're more likely to be successful and stay in there and want to do your best. And that's not just true in my class, but it's true throughout your time at any university, and I believe in jobs or in relationships with other people, whether it be your family or a loved one or a marriage or whatever. You need to have that open line of communication, the ability to ask questions and the ability to receive feedback.
He pushed me to practice my English?
The method that he used, it was the same that my high school used, actually. So it was not as hard as I thought it would be. What I thought it was interesting, it was that, first of all, ask. Because in my classroom, it was like 10 people. So every time somebody has to ask something or somebody has to answer. So, and every time the teacher was like, what do you think? What do you think? To each of us, like, it was not that hard. It was 10 people. So being with Josh, it was the same thing, kind of doing by your own thinking and planning basically what's your questions and answers. So that's what I was basically doing. And about the research paper, I did one in my junior year, if I'm not wrong, and I enjoy it, but not as deeper as this one. This one actually changed a little bit more. So, yeah.
And not just asking questions in class has again improved my English and my way of speaking. There are many things in which the teacher let us homework that may let my imaginations fly and creates new things. Flick groups, for example.
So tell me, Rodrigo, how do you involve yourself in class?
So first of all, the teacher. The teacher was really intimidating the first week, because I think it's normal. You don't know the students, so you have to be rude sometimes. Okay. But then I realized that he was actually pretty nice.
Okay.
He wakes his teach. I really like that.
When you actually start doing it, you were saying, I can't. And I remember I told you, you can. You just need to focus and do it. And I remember the video that we were shooting, when we were just walking, it was, I don't know, it was in Flipgrid. And it was great. You did it in one shot. I'm the only witness that actually, saw that you did it in one shot. So I think that your progress is really great, not only on the purpose of English by itself, it's just the fluency, the way that you talk, the way that you express yourself is better. And even though you're a little bit shy, we did just right now a radio show, and I think it was great. I was listening to you in my headsets, and I think the fluency and the I think I understand you so clear that I think the audience will understand too.
Maybe an essay, maybe something that you don't want to forget. That is revision.
One of the things that put me nervous all the time is the grammar, the vocabulary, the plagiarism. This is very difficult to make an essay and not be like another one.
Here I had to put my speaking skills to the maximum and also my improvisation skills when I speak about the subject he made us read.
You know what? It's weird. Even though I've been here for almost 5 years, speaking English and everything, the fluence and I think the way that I'm thinking right now of my English is just different. I feel that I don't know, my vocabulary words, it just expand. Like it's better, and what I like is that now he is not just preparing me for a class or next class. He's preparing me for a future, a interview, a CV, kind of those things, and that's what I like, because that's gonna be forever. And who knows, maybe the project that I did on my first year of college is gonna help me get a job, on my first day of work. Hey, who knows?
There is more than just talking to the camera. Read articles and summarize them, Project 1 and 2, and now this last one, Project 3. Project 1 was about an internal search that had changed my life. Many of us had doubts about how to start it, and well, a great way to start it will be with a question, right? Who I am, why changed me, why I'm here. These are one of the questions that many of us start asking ourselves to be able to start the essay. Mr. Gray dismissed it without blinking.
Curiosity should lead the way, and that if we have questions, if we have ideas, and that if we can start to vocalize them, we're actually building a spark. We're going to build a spark in this darkness of not knowing where we're going to go. But we can start to have this spark that we can follow out into that darkness. What I see a lot of times is if I just tell people, okay, go. They don't do anything, just sit there. And they look around. And then they start to do this. They say, can I have a model? Can you show me examples? And I think, no, I don't want to see your version of someone else's work. I want to see your version of how this project's going to get done. That's what I want. So the best way that I have figured out how to do that is to not show any models, but is to say, you ask the questions. We're going to follow your curiosity. We're going to see what you create. I'd rather see a beautiful failure than just a really good copy of something else.
I think it was difficult to express everything that I felt. And I gotta be honest, he said about an experience, but I think we don't go into many details because, it's hard. It's sometimes sad. For my part, it was sad. So that's why it's kind of tough at the beginning. And I think the lackness of time, because I was starting having my job. That's actually how my work won. Well, my project won. It was not in a good grade. It was not a fail grade, but it was not as I expected. But it was because I put so many hours on my job, more than I used to, and that's why I did lackness on project one. So it was hard because of the topic, and it was hard because of my work.
I just wonder about those first classes. What event in my life made a breakthrough? I remember that I have ADHD, so I just started writing. I started by telling how my life had been dealing with this problem and how I managed to overcome it. By this point, I was practically writing an autobiography, but that wasn't enough. My first draft was a mess, not only because I didn't know exactly what part of my ADHD to tell, but what events were important and which ones made me stand out. I managed to finish it by giving it a focus on what my life had done the longest when my ADHD seems to have no solution. I'm talking about Taekwondo. By this point I already had more worthy format to deliver. Still, I didn't think it was on the level of a college essay, and well, I was right. I got through it with a C, but there was still a lot of learning fields, clearly.
The first project was very challenging for me. Also, I got a C because I don't have an idea of how write my essay in good way. It's difficult to read, and the ideas are not very clearly, and I have a lot of root outs.
Project 2 was even more a difficult challenge. Now the problem was not how to start it, since we had to take our story from Project 1 and turn it into a research format.
I can see a very change in my Project 1 and 2 because the Project 1 was awful and the Project 2 is better than 1, and that's when I see a good change on me.
The problem became where to look and what we wanted to focus on. Mr. Gray gave me an idea of research of how sports impact on ADHD kids. It was difficult and even more for people who cannot sit and read for hours as this challenge needed. This is where I started looking for tools to make this as stress-free and dynamic as possible, because this is how my mind works. Instead of reading, I found a tool that reads everything for me. Now I could listen to all the necessary information to make this more enjoyable for my abilities. And yes, it improved even though I know I could have done better.
With the classmates that I was, they were very helpful for me. They helped me a lot in understand the teacher, to explain me some words, the grammar. My last partner helped me to make the citations and teach me how to make it and push me to don't keep the project too.
Rodrigo came in, I think, the second week along with a few other people. One thing I noticed immediately about Rodrigo is when he spoke, he kept his lips as close together as possible. So let me give you an example. So a lot of students will come in and they'll talk like this here. They don't want to move their lips. That's either shyness or it's a fear of speaking English. So it took very little time to figure out that Rodrigo was English as a second language. So I wanted my best to get him out of his shell and to see that if he spoke with an accent or if he didn't say words completely okay, that was fine. Like, who cares? Let's move on. Let's learn some stuff. So I I wanted to ask him, can you speak up? Can you speak up? Can you speak up? So I wanted him to see that this is a place to step forward. Because sometimes when you come in as an English as a second language, you step back. You only find people who are Spanish speakers and who will speak Spanish. And it never allows growth to learn new words in a foreign language, English in this particular instance. So I pushed Rodrigo to try new words. I pushed Rodrigo to speak up in class. Another reason is that he seemed not too scared by that. He seemed comfortable with being called out, meaning he didn't go red in the face. He didn't run to the bathroom immediately afterwards. Some students do because they're embarrassed, they feel pressure, anxiety. I understand that. I understand. So I noticed immediately that there were certain people in the classroom that if I did say, speak up, what do you say, Rodrigo? That he would be somebody who could handle that in a positive way.
I tend to be quite a shy person at the beginning, but the push that Mr. Gray gave me was what made me improve. My English may not be the best at theory speaking, but I work with what I have.
He looks like my best friend. Yeah, that's like legit. I have when I heard you before, I'm like, you know, my best friend, his name is Carlos. So when I met you and I saw you, the way that you act, the way that you look, actually, and I showed you a picture of it. It's like, and I told my mom, this guy looks like my best friend. You know, he looks like Carlos. So every time that if you can see the times that I called you, and I'm kind of like, hey, how are you doing? I addressed you so friendly. It was because of that.
That's right, I have courage. That has allowed me to move forward and face all my troubles. I don't like staying in my comfort zone, you know? I always level up. I don't like to look back.
Oh, certainly. You can see how he speaks in the classroom, how he's more comfortable speaking out loud, having his voice carried. There seems to be less hesitation with the English-speaking part of the class. Another thing that's evolved is I've noticed that people are very comfortable around Rodrigo. And that's maybe a natural thing for him, but I can tell that sometimes if I put him in certain groups, if I swap people around the room, it was easier for the group to accept him into it. So people were comfortable with him because they had heard him talk. He had made people laugh before, so they felt comfortable with him. So from the shy, quiet guy in the beginning who didn't want to move his lips, to the guy jumping from group to group and easily conversing with others, was certainly a growth there. I also saw that his paragraphs became longer in the writing. Writing became more sophisticated with more practice. So I saw both in communication, verbal and written, that there was growth over the time period in the semester.
I make people laugh, and apparently many of them who are next to me feel good. That gives me a boost to my daily day. I do what I can with what I have, and hey, I have never been one of those who shut up. You feel me? I like to make friends, and I try to do my best, and it hasn't turned out so bad yet.